Let me tell you something about Congressman Miller. He's from Chumuckla, which is really, we know that as Pensacola, Escambia County. His wife, Vicki, and he are just a wonderful family, a wonderful team. He has been the congressman for the 1st District since 2001. He is probably one of the most conservative members of the United States Congress. He has a good conservative district. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee. He's also a member of the Veterans Affairs Committee. And not if, but when we take over the House in Washington, I think that Jeff is probably going to be chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee. And that's big. That's really big. Because at that point in time, he becomes one of 13 committee chairs. There's only 13 committee chairs in the Congress on the House side. And if you're one of those 13, you're golden. I mean, you are golden. And the good thing about Jeff is he likes this part of the state. He likes this part of Congressional District 2. He's always been a friend of ours over here in Panama City with respect to Tyndall and the Navy Lab. He's always supported us in our efforts to keep full employment there. He also recently went to a Tea Party gathering, and I will tell you, my instincts tell me he was probably more conservative than most members of the Tea Party that were there that night. So anyway, it's a real honor for me to introduce to you our congressman from the 1st District, who will then introduce the next congressman from the 2nd District, Steve Southerland. So, Jeff Miller.
It is a pleasure to be able to come here today and add my name to the long list of people who have endorsed Steve Southerland for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. I do this because I think it's important as we move through to the November elections that we are going to have people that can set this country back on the right path. And we can't do it with Nancy Pelosi as the Speaker, and we can't do it with a Democrat House and a Democrat President like Barack Obama.
Right.
And unfortunately, many of my colleagues have walked lockstep with both the Speaker and the President on many, many issues. I don't want to have to think how my colleague to the east is going to cast their vote on cap and trade, because I know that Steve Southerland would vote no. I don't want to have to think and worry about how my colleague to the east of the 1st District is going to vote on nationalizing our health care system, because I know Steve Southerland would vote no. Bailouts, government takeovers, not the direction that this country wants to go in. And Steve Southerland is the type of person raised by a good mama and daddy who put him on the right track so that he would understand the things that the founding fathers of this country wanted those of us who went to Washington, D.C. to represent their constituents. That less government is more. That we don't have a blank check that we can go out and spend $900 billion on a stimulus plan that did not work. That we cannot continue to go in and take over business after business and put government intrusion in everyday life for people that are just trying to make a living. That if Steve Southerland were in Washington today, I wouldn't have to worry about whether or not he was going to help us keep those tax cuts that are about to expire in January in place, because the last thing we need to do in this economic time is to put the largest tax increase ever in the history of this country on the backs of the American people. And so for these reasons, I want to come here today and add my full support for the candidacy of Steve Southerland for United States Congress here in the 2nd Congressional District.
And I've had enough of this government penalizing those who create jobs. And I'm looking at business owners today. You create jobs. You are the hope of people realizing their future. If people don't have a job, they can't realize the dream of home ownership. If they don't have a job, they can't purchase that vehicle that they desperately need. If they don't have a job, they can't send their children to college. If they don't have a job, then they are dependent upon the federal government. And I believe strongly more in the hardworking men and women, the people, than I do the federal government meeting and providing all of our needs. I encourage you to please be a stronger part of our campaign going forward. I need you. Your country needs you. Great leaders like Congressman Jeff Miller need you to get involved in this race. We need to send a message around this district that we, the people, are taking our country back to a new direction of hope, a new direction where life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is guaranteed to every American. Thank you so much for being here today. God bless you all. Congressman Miller, thank you again. Alan, thank you again so much. God bless you. And as always, may God continue to shine and bless the United States of America. Thank you.